Hey there. Have you ever had that feeling of living in a fog, even when everything around you seems perfect? Like, you're going through the motions, but you just don't feel fully alive? It's almost like you're watching life unfold from the sidelines, but never really participating. You're there, but not really there. Now, imagine this: you're Johnny Depp, one of the most famous actors on the planet, adored by millions, a household name. You have everything anyone could ever dream of: money, fame, luxury, but still, you feel invisible. Does that sound crazy? Well, it's not just some exaggerated metaphor. Johnny Depp has openly admitted that at the height of his fame, he felt like a ghost in his own life. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into Johnny Depp's personal struggles behind the scenes of his incredibly successful career. He's always been known for his iconic roles, from Captain Jack Sparrow to the eccentric Willy Wonka, but few people know about the personal toll fame has taken on him. We're going to break down exactly what he meant when he said that he felt like a ghost in his own life. How can someone who's loved by millions feel so isolated? Why would someone with fame, fortune, and adoration feel invisible? And what can we, as ordinary people, learn from Johnny's experiences? Stick around, because I think you'll find his journey a lot more relatable than you might expect. It all starts with fame itself. We live in a world that idolizes celebrities, elevating them to almost godlike statuses. We see their glamorous red carpets, their mansions, their luxurious vacations, and we can't help but fantasize about what life would be like if we had all that. But the truth is, fame is often not as glamorous as it seems. For Johnny Depp, fame wasn't just about getting the perks that came with it. He quickly realized that fame comes with a cost. The most obvious cost? The constant surveillance. You may think that being famous means you get to do whatever you want, but in reality, it means everything you do is under a microscope. You can't even go to a grocery store without someone recognizing you, snapping photos, and making assumptions about who you are. The public doesn't just see you as you are, they see you through a lens shaped by the media, your characters, and their own expectations. This constant scrutiny was one of the first things that made Johnny Depp feel like he was losing himself. Imagine living your life knowing that every move you make is being watched and judged. You're not living as yourself anymore, you're living as the version of yourself that other people want to see. And when that happens, you start to feel like a puppet, controlled by others' perceptions of you, rather than the person you really are. You stop making choices based on your own desires and start making them based on what will keep you in the public's good graces. And let's be real, when you're constantly trying to meet everyone else's expectations, it's easy to lose sight of your own. But the toll didn't stop there. Fame came with another, more insidious problem: the loneliness that comes with being surrounded by people but feeling utterly alone. Johnny Depp has spoken about how fame made him feel like he was in a room full of people, yet still emotionally isolated. This happens to a lot of famous people. They're surrounded by friends, colleagues, and fans, but they feel a disconnect, as if they're living in a different world from everyone else. For Johnny, the fame that brought him so much attention also kept him at arm's length from the people who truly understood him. Everyone wanted a piece of Johnny Depp, but very few people were interested in the real Johnny behind the mask. This sense of loneliness in the midst of fame is something many people can relate to, even if they're not famous. How many of us have been in a room full of people, whether at a party, a work event, or even in our own homes, and still felt alone? It's not about the number of people around you, it's about the depth of the connections you have with them. Johnny Depp's struggle wasn't just about physical isolation, it was about emotional isolation. He was surrounded by people who loved him for his roles, but no one truly knew the real Johnny. In a way, fame had created a wall between him and the people who could truly understand him. But what made this even worse was the internal struggle he faced. Imagine not knowing who you really are anymore. You've spent so much time being a version of yourself that everyone else expects, that you start to forget who the real you is. And this is where Johnny Depp's story gets even more profound. Fame had created an identity crisis for him. Who was Johnny Depp? Was he the actor that millions adored, or was he something more than that? He began to question if there was even a real Johnny Depp behind the public persona. The more he immersed himself in the fame, the more disconnected he became from his true self. This feeling of being torn between two identities, the public persona and the private self, can be incredibly disorienting. You start to lose touch with your values, your passions, and your core beliefs. Instead of making choices based on who you really are, you make choices based on what you think will please the people around you. And over time, that can be emotionally exhausting. Johnny Depp was living proof of that struggle. Fame, instead of bringing him closer to himself, made him feel more distant from his own identity. It was like he was playing a role in his own life, rather than living it authentically. Now, you might be wondering, how does someone escape that kind of emotional turmoil? How do you break free from a life that's been dictated by external pressures and expectations? Johnny Depp's journey wasn't an easy one, and it didn't happen overnight. Reclaiming your true self is a long process, and for Johnny, it meant going through a painful period of self-reflection. He had to step back and reassess everything he thought he knew about himself. Fame had distorted his sense of identity, so he needed to peel away those layers and rediscover who he truly was beneath all the noise. The first step in this process of rediscovery was acknowledging the truth. Johnny Depp realized that fame had caused him to lose touch with the very thing that had driven him to act in the first place, his passion for storytelling. When he started acting, it wasn't about fame. It was about telling stories and expressing himself in a way that felt authentic. Somewhere along the way, that got lost. So, Johnny had to go back to the roots of why he became an actor in the first place, rediscovering his love for the craft rather than the fame it brought him. This isn't just about Johnny Depp, though. It's something that we can all learn from. Whether you're famous or not, we all go through phases where we start to feel like we're playing a role in our own lives. We start to live for the approval of others, whether it's our family, friends, or society as a whole. And when we do that, we lose sight of who we really are. Johnny Depp's story is a reminder that it's okay to take a step back and reassess. It's okay to get lost and find your way again. The journey to rediscovering your true self might be difficult, but it's worth it. As Johnny Depp worked through his struggles, he realized that the key to happiness wasn't in more fame or more success, it was in finding peace within himself. Fame wasn't going to fill the void he felt inside. Money and success weren't going to make him happy. What he needed was authenticity. He needed to reconnect with the things that truly mattered to him, and to let go of the need to live up to everyone else's expectations. And that, my friends, is something we can all relate to, no matter where we are in life. Johnny Depp's story is a powerful reminder that fame, money, and success don't solve our inner struggles. They might give us temporary satisfaction, but they don't bring long-term happiness. The real joy comes from knowing who you are, being true to yourself, and living life on your own terms. And it's not about being perfect, it's about being authentic. Johnny's struggles with fame show us that it's okay to feel lost, it's okay to question who you are, and it's okay to take the time to rediscover yourself. So, let me ask you, have you ever felt like you were living for someone else? Maybe it was the expectations of your family, your friends, or even society at large. Have you ever felt like you were just going through the motions, playing a part instead of truly living? I think we've all been there at some point. But Johnny Depp's story reminds us that it's never too late to take a step back and reevaluate what really matters to us. It's never too late to reconnect with the things that make us feel alive. We don't have to keep playing a role that doesn't fit us. We can all find our way back to our true selves, just like Johnny did. So, what do you think? Do you think fame really caused Johnny's struggles, or do you think it's something more universal that we all face in our own lives? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more stories like this. We've got plenty more coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.